This video is sponsored by TAC. It's pretty crazy to believe that the original iPhone SE came out almost 6 years ago. It was a pretty big deal for Apple given the amount of features that this low-budget smartphone came with at the time. And today we're comparing it against the newest 2022 iPhone SE and seeing just how much things have changed when it comes to Apple's budget smartphone. If you guys are new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get started. First of all, let's talk about the design on both of these iPhones. The original SE was pretty much based off of the iPhone 5S, but it came in this beautiful new rose gold color. As you guys can see here, it has these beautiful chamfered edges and a white and rose gold back. And the newest 2022 SE, which we have here, actually resembles the iPhone 8, which, believe it or not, is a 5-year-old iPhone design. And some people just like having that physical home button there, so that's understandable. And of course, the original iPhone SE was one of the last iPhones to support a headphone jack, and it's always super nostalgic to look back at because that was honestly one of Apple's biggest design changes since the original iPhone, so it's always nice to be able to look back at. In terms of features, both of these phones came with the latest Apple chip at the time they were launched, and they both also support Touch ID. So the original iPhone SE has the Apple A9 chip, which is what the iPhone 6s also had, and the 2022 SE supports the Apple A15, which is the same chip as the iPhone 13, and you can definitely notice a huge difference in speed. And of course, there's also major changes in the hardware side of things as well. The new 2022 SE now supports 5G, whereas the original SE only supported up to LTE. And overall, the software has been alright on the original SE. It's still currently running iOS 15, and although it is the latest software, the phone has honestly received way too many updates at this point because this iPhone and the iPhone 6s are the longest supported iPhones ever made by Apple, and when an iPhone just keeps receiving too many updates, then they eventually slow down and the battery doesn't perform as well as it once used to. And yes, iOS 15 is probably going to be the last software that the original SE ever receives, but I wouldn't be surprised if the SE 2022 was Apple's next longest supported iPhone. But of course, guys, we can't forget about the box as well. The unboxing experience has also changed quite a bit. We went from getting 2 Apple stickers, a charging cube, and of course those little headphones, but all this has been removed with the newer iPhones since I believe 2020 when Apple stopped including them in the box. Now, it's also important to remember that both of these phones came out 6 years apart, and so the hardware and the features are not going to be the same, but it's just so cool to see how far the SE has come. And I say this because it kind of reminds me of the iPhone 5C days and how Apple kind of tried to make a similar phone back in 2013, but unfortunately it did end up failing. But it's so cool to see that the SE is still here, it's ticking around, and I'm kind of glad that Apple refreshed it for the 2022 year. And if you guys are thinking about picking up the new SE, that $429 price tag is a little steep for a 5-year-old design. So here's what I recommend for you if you don't care too much about Touch ID, big bezels, and 5G. If you actually head over to Apple's refurbished website, they're still selling the iPhone XR, and you actually get Face ID, a bigger battery, and even double the storage. The only drawback here is that the phone came out in like 2018, but honestly it still works very well on iOS 15 and it should support the next few iOS versions. But if you want the newest Apple chip at the lowest possible price, then the SE3 is your way to go. And one of the first things you'll need to do when you get a new phone is to, of course, get a new case. And that's where our sponsor TAC comes in. They have these beautiful cases for your iPhone. They're super slim, they're not too bulky at all, and they also offer a lot of camera protection on the back as well, as you guys can see here. And of course, you can also mix and match different colors and styles depending on the type of case that you get. And you guys can also use my code iClassic for 10% off. Links will be in the description box below. And thank you so much to TAC for sponsoring today's video.